Today our topic is the power of practicing Stoic detachment. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is detachment. Detachment does not mean that we stop caring about things or people. It means that we learn to accept what happens in life without letting it control our emotions or our peace of mind. This idea is very powerful because it helps us stay calm and strong even when things are difficult. Imagine you are in a storm. You cannot stop the wind or the rain, but you can control how you react to it. You can choose to stay calm, to protect yourself, and to wait for the storm to pass. This is what Stoic detachment is about. It is about understanding that life will always have challenges, but we can choose how we respond to them. The first step in practicing Stoic detachment is to understand what is in our control and what is not. The Stoics believe that the only things we can truly control are our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. Everything else is outside of our control. For example, we cannot control the weather, other people's opinions, or whether we get sick. But we can control how we think about these things, how we act in response to them, and how we feel about them. When we focus on what we can control, we stop wasting energy on things that we cannot change. This gives us more power and freedom in our lives. It helps us to stay focused on what truly matters and to avoid unnecessary stress and worry. One of the best ways to practice Stoic detachment is to remind ourselves that everything in life is temporary. The good times will not last forever, but neither will the bad times. When we are happy, we should enjoy the moment, but we should not become too attached to it. When we are sad or facing difficulties, we should remember that this too shall pass. This mindset helps us to stay balanced and to avoid extreme emotions. It also helps us to appreciate the present moment because we know that it will not last. This is why the Stoics often talked about the importance of living in the present. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only moment we truly have is now, and we should make the most of it. Another important aspect of Stoic detachment is learning to accept things as they are, without judgment. The Stoics believe that everything happens for a reason, even if we do not understand it at the time. Instead of fighting against reality, we should accept it and focus on how we can respond in the best way possible. For example, if we lose our job, instead of feeling angry or hopeless, we can accept the situation and start looking for new opportunities. If we get sick, instead of complaining, we can focus on taking care of ourselves and staying positive. This does not mean that we should ignore our emotions or pretend that everything is fine when it is not. It means that we should not let our emotions control us. We should acknowledge our feelings, but we should also remember that we have the power to choose how we respond. Stoic detachment also teaches us to be grateful for what we have, instead of always wanting more. The Stoics believe that many of our problems come from our desires. When we want things that we do not have, we create stress and dissatisfaction in our lives. But when we learn to be content with what we have, we find peace and happiness. This does not mean that we should not have goals or ambitions. It means that we should not let our happiness depend on external things. True happiness comes from within, from our own thoughts and actions. When we practice gratitude, we focus on the good things in our lives, and this helps us to stay positive and motivated, even in difficult times. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a very powerful idea. It reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to any situation. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we think about it and how we act. This is the essence of Stoic detachment. It is about taking responsibility for our own thoughts and actions and not letting external events control us. When we practice this, we become stronger and more resilient. We learn to face challenges with courage and to find peace in the midst of chaos. Another important Stoic idea is the concept of the dichotomy of control. This means that we should divide everything in life into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. The things we can control include our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. The things we cannot control include external events, other people's opinions, and the past. When we focus on what we can control, we feel more empowered and less stressed. When we try to control things that are outside of our control, we feel frustrated and helpless. The key is to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. This is not always easy, but it is very powerful. It helps us to stay calm and focused, even in difficult situations. Stoic detachment also teaches us to be mindful of our thoughts. The Stoics believe that our thoughts shape our reality. If we think negative thoughts, we will feel negative emotions. If we think positive thoughts, we will feel positive emotions. This is why it is important to pay attention to our thoughts and to challenge any negative or irrational beliefs. For example, if we think, "I will never be happy," we should question this thought. Is it really true? Or is it just a negative belief that we have learned? By challenging our thoughts, we can change our emotions and our actions. This helps us to stay positive and to focus on what we can control. Another important Stoic practice is to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. This means that we should imagine the worst-case scenario and think about how we would handle it. By doing this, we prepare ourselves for any challenges that may come our way. This does not mean that we should expect bad things to happen, or that we should live in fear. It means that we should be prepared for anything, so that we are not caught off guard. When we are prepared, we can face challenges with courage and confidence, knowing that we have already thought about how to handle them. Finally, Stoic detachment teaches us to focus on our own character and virtues. The Stoics believed that the most important thing in life is to be a good person. This means being honest, kind, courageous, and wise. When we focus on our character, we stop worrying about external things like money, fame, or success. Instead, we focus on what truly matters, our own actions, and how we treat others. This helps us to live a meaningful and fulfilling life, no matter what happens. It also helps us to stay true to ourselves, even in difficult times. In conclusion, the power of practicing Stoic detachment lies in its ability to help us stay calm, focused, and resilient, no matter what life throws at us. By focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot, and living in the present moment, we can find peace and happiness even in the midst of chaos. Stoic detachment teaches us to be grateful for what we have, to challenge our negative thoughts, and to focus on our own character and virtues. It reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to any situation, and that true happiness comes from within. By practicing Stoic detachment, we can live a more meaningful and fulfilling life, and we can face any challenge with courage and confidence.